economic development. Type B, Economic Development Corp. And Parks Board. We have a citizens forum. Do we have anybody?
No, sir.
Okay. All right, on to regular agenda. Item number 1, discuss, consider, and possible action on the August 12th, 2024 meeting minutes. Does anybody have anything that they would like to discuss about the August 12th meeting minutes? Okay. Then I guess I'm looking for a motion to approve the meeting minutes from August 12th as they are.
Make a motion to approve minutes from August 12th.
Need a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Raise your hand, whatever you do. Unanimous. Okay. Item 2, discuss, consider, and possible action on the approval of a new playground design for the city park. Who's given that to us?
Yep. All right. So I've been working with 4 companies and they've come up with some pretty good designs. Share with y'all today. So today we're going to be trying to pick which company that we're going to go with. Some of these designs can be changed, or they can all be changed at this point. So we're going to go through these. I'm going to start with Cunningham Recreation. They carry game time playgrounds.
Do we have, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt you, Stephen. Do we have that on our Cunningham? I don't see, which one is that?
You should have had the Cunningham game time.
It may be the way you named it. If it's in order, it's just under presentation, should be the first one.
Okay, thank you.
Should be, yeah.
Thank you. All right, I'm good, I think.
Okay. So their design, the main centerpiece of their design would be a 2-towered structure connected with a rope bridge. There's a little bit of everything on this structure. You have the climbing feature, you have a bit of a clubhouse feature. They can get all the way at the top. It's fully enclosed with a roof. There's things to do, sensory things at the bottom. There's puzzle boards. And on the back side, I'm going to zoom in. You can see it on the screen here.
Sir, you have to open that door. Can't close that door. Open it up. Thank you.
So on the backside, you have these tree posts that double as climbing features. There's a little raised hill at the bottom of it. So there's all kinds of fun stuff on this structure. The pictures really don't do it justice how big this structure would be. So then we'd have a 2 to 5-year-old structure as well. So this also has climbing features, sensory features. On this structure, they have this sensory board that this is electronic, that children with hearing disabilities or impairments can plug hearing devices into this, and it sings to them. They can spell things out with the letters and the buttons and numbers. This just has a ton of different activities that interact with the children and helps those with hearing disabilities. Here's another angle of it. So some slides, some fun stuff to do. And here are some of the other features that would be on this playground. Start with, they call this a double arch swing. So it's a tire swing style feature. I know in Mansfield, they had a few of these, and these are some of the absolute most popular things. These will get worn out before the regular swings do. Because you can stack as many children as can fit in it, and they go to town, they have a great time. They also are putting this feature in there. So it's a merry-go-round rope swing. They call it the shadow spinner. So you sit on it just like you would a regular tree swing or a rope swing, but the whole thing also spins around. So you kind of get a lot of activity. Other kids can get involved. So it's not just that person on the swing, other kids can push them around like
Mhm.
merry-go-round. Uh, We have a actual merry-go-round, and this is a handicap accessible merry-go-round. So wheelchairs can get into this, that has a seating place, so if parents want to get on there with their kids or grandparents or other people that have disabilities, they can also use this merry-go-round, and it's set in the ground, so there's no tripping hazard, there's no way anything can get stuck up under it. It's just a really, really neat feature. Move over to, make sure that's keeping up with me. Then the teeter totter. So this is a 4-seater teeter totter. And kids can also stand in the middle. So you can have as many kids as can fit on this thing. They can all pile on and just go to town with it. So another pretty neat feature. And this is gonna be the footprint. So you can see in the footprint how big the structure actually is. So this footprint would cover where the old playground was. That was a pretty large footprint. So this almost encompasses that entire space over there. So this does a really good job of showing how big that main 5-year-old to 12-year-old structure is. It's a huge structure. Let me make sure I got everything on here. Yep. All right, so here's the breakdown of the pricing. I think everybody should have this in their handouts. So this one comes to $619,141. One thing I will point out on this, it did not have traditional swings in this plan. So I went back to the reps and I asked them if they could add that. So that would add another 10,000, so it'd be 630,000 overall with the addition of the swing set.
That's after a grant, it looks like.
Yes, so Game Time is doing a grant program. So it's 100% match on the playground structure over 100 or over $100,000. So that actually covers $113,000 of this playground overall. So we're getting more bang for our buck with this company. There's some other pretty unique things that we get with Game Time. That this follows a 7 principles of inclusive play, which would add us to the map as far as destination playgrounds. Because it meets all 7 of the criteria for that. That would put us in a registry that would be searchable online as far as inclusive play. And so studies have shown that that brings more foot traffic, which brings more revenue for the city overall. I think they told me averages about $200,000 a year in revenue for the city, just in the volume of visitors come just for these types of playgrounds. So there's a lot of perks with this particular playground.
Wow.
So I guess my only concern I would have is I like the whole sensory aspect of it. I worry about like all those little things working a year from now.
That's what I was thinking too.
You know, like how much maintenance is gonna be to keep that little plug-in sensory board thing working and.
I did ask about that, and he said he thinks it's a 9-volt battery, but the batteries last 5 to 10 years. Because it just takes such a low
But like,
voltage.
what if
that
sticks get stuck in there and things like that? I mean, I know we have to.
all the holes should be
maintain that,
covered,
right?
that nothing should be able to be poked inside of there. They should have solid plastic pieces with like little holes, so it protects the speakers. Zoom in on it here.
Oh, I thought maybe I misunderstood. I thought you like hearing impaired kids would stick
So
something
you
in there
have
to hear, right?
You have an auxiliary port, so you can plug in like a headset to it, but
Oh, I see.
and if it did get clogged, part of our job as maintenance is to clean it out.
Yeah, sure.
Cause that could be true with any of the features on the playground, that people come out and they poke stuff in holes, and we'll dig it out and keep the maintenance up on it.
How about parts and things like that when things were out? Do they have a program
So
for?
there is a 15-year warranty on this playground, 5 years on moving parts. So all the posts, the platforms, the slides, everything has a 15-year warranty. And these are all US made products, so I've worked with Game Time and Cunningham Recreation a lot in the past with Mansfield. 5 of the Mansfield playgrounds are with this company, and one of them's over 20 years old and probably could go another 10 years. So I can tell you firsthand, this company, they stand behind their product. I've never had an issue with customer service, and that's replacing parts on a 20-year-old playground. That they hold up and they last. He actually sent me photos of a playground up in North Dallas area. Somebody shot a propane tank under it and it exploded and blew up under the playground, and the playground took it. And so these are quality products.
Oh my
What about the ground, what's your surface?
So with this service, okay, good, glad you asked, because I would not have covered that. This will be pour in place, so this will be granulated rubber that's glued together. It's a rubberized surfacing, and because we have the grant with this, that's a more expensive playground surfacing, so it helps us to be able to get that kind of surfacing. They did put an option in here for the pricing, if we wanted to go with a turf surface, find it, here we go. So, see on the screen there, I'll try to zoom in for you. So the port in place is $192,000 and the synthetic turf is $163,000. So there is a bit of a price difference, but I would recommend that we stick with the pour in place since,
Is that over and above the 635?
no, the
part
pour in
of it.
place is on, they priced it with the pour in place. If we wanted to go cheaper, we could go with the
Okay.
synthetic.
Yeah.
But this price is for pour in place.
Do we get to pick the colors?
Yes.
How about drainage for rain?
Drainage as far as in the playground with,
Yes,
they're gonna do that when they do this groundwork to put all the surfacing in. They'll take care of the slope because everything has to be graded to, I think it's a 112 slope underneath the playground surfacing, so they take care of the drainage. The rubberized surfacing is porous, so water, it doesn't hold water, everything just drains right through. And then they'll have drainage in the concrete wall, so everything flows out the way it should.
is there any maintenance needed on the surface?
We would have to reseal it every few years. Side of that, no.
And what's that entail?
Just rolling on the sealing product and
Okay.
letting it dry.
I kind of feel like we'd have to do that with any equipment that we get
Yes.
though, right? So.
Yes, there'll be routine maintenance to be done with either the synthetic turf. Every so often, we'd have to go through and broom it because everything will get squished down, laid flat. With this, we just have to reseal it every couple of years. So that is just as simple as taking the sealing product and paint roller, putting it on, everything's dry and we're good for another couple of years.
They have an estimate of how long it will take to get the equipment?
Yes, so they said 5 to 8 weeks on getting the equipment. And they said roughly about a month for installation.
And then what's the pricing? When do you have to pay? Is there a half now, remainder later type?
No, we would not pay half up front.
Okay.
No, they did not mention anything about a deposit or anything. This would be paid when we get the product.
What did you say for completion?
Good, for completion will be before spring. So it's about 30 days once we have the product and they go to put it in.
Is there any guarantee?
There will be a guarantee, there will be a contract.
We'll have the city attorney draw up a contract that'll have the start date and end date. Damages for late, I mean, it'll be done, what we'll have control of it.
And they did put in here terms and conditions, installation conditions. So they've already have some terms and conditions with this, but I will have a much more in-depth contract before we sign off and order anything.
About concrete edging, so forth.
So the concrete edging, let's go back up to. So I would be doing the concrete edging with our concrete person because it's about a third of the price that their concrete people charge. But it would not be that much concrete, so it would still maybe 20,000 for the additional concrete.
Okay.
You ready to go on to the next one?
Yes,
One more
sir.
question, I'm sorry. How about dumpsters? Will they take care of the waste? Or
Yes,
is that something the city? will
that'll be
have
in
to
their
do?
scope of work to deal with the waste and anything that they produce, they'll have to remove. And that'll go for all of these companies. Go to Compan for the next one. Okay, so Compan is a Dutch company, so they're out of the Netherlands, no, Swedish, sorry, they're Swedish, not Dutch. This is another very high-end playground manufacturer. They have warehouses in the United States that carry all the common components. So getting replacement parts or anything like that, that would be coming from stateside. I can't turn it down. Okay. So this playground, they've included some shading over some of the areas. So the 2 to 5-year-old area, the teeter totter, and the merry-go-round. So I'm gonna zoom in on some of these pictures. Start with the tower. So this is also a tower structure. Alright, same concept with the tower. You have a lot to do on the tower that's built into it, very clubhouse feeling. This particular structure has a lot of fireman's poles, a lot of rope climbing features on the outside of it. Adjacent to that, we have a merry-go-round that is a web style merry-go-round. It's kind of a cage, so kids can hang on the outside of it, they can be on the inside of it, and they can spin around. There is speed reducing technology in these, so they just cannot go as fast as they possibly can. So it can only go so fast. Yeah. This also has a lot of inclusivity, that you can actually see a wheelchair pictured in this. So everything in these playgrounds will be designed for kids with mobility issues, kids with different kind of learning disabilities, handicaps. They can all enjoy aspects and parts of this playground, and if not, its entirety. So this also has a 4-way teeter totter. It's a little bit different setup. But it's the same concept. 2 kids on either end and however many you can pile in the middle. Then a 2 to 5-year-old playground. It's actually a pretty widespread structure. And then you have your traditional swing bays in the back. Then I think there's a better picture of that further down. They have a rope obstacle course included on this one, so kids can play on it. There's no wrong way to play on a rope obstacle course. They can hang upside down, they can climb up to the very top, do backflips off if they want. There's just really no wrong way to do this, so it promotes ingenuity and imagination. There's another picture of the teeter totter. And here's some better images of the backside of the 5 to 12 and the 2 to 5. So there's some rope bridges, there's some climbing poles, there's a lot of external features, a lot of activity. I think this one's geared more towards athleticism and fitness. Little bit of the footprint.
How's the footprint on this one compared to the first one that you showed
The
us?
footprint's a little bit smaller than the game time. There's not quite as many features in this as the game time structure. But it's still a fairly large footprint. I think the game time was just over 7,000 square feet, and I believe this one's closer to 6.
So am I looking at this correctly? There's only one tunnel slide and one open slide for the 5 to 12?
Yes. I'm gonna zoom into this in the back. So this is what they call their cocoa wave. So it's a giant coconut fiber rope that's held up in an arch. And this is another, kids can pile on as many as they want, however many fit, and they can swing on it, and parents can use it with them. I had them put that in there. I thought that was pretty cool.
What's the weight limit on that? Any idea?
Over 1,000. Probably closer to 2,000 or 3,000 on that one.
For little
It's
kids.
robust.
And adults.
I don't think the amount of people who can fit on it will outdo that weight limit.
Okay.
Shot of the footprint on it.
Now, the white is going off to,
So the white is concrete, so that kind of separates the playground, your 5 to 12 to 2 to 5. That's where picnic tables or park benches can be put in, so the parents will have seating in the middle of the playground area so they can observe everything. And I like that idea because having parents in the playground hopefully leads to less accidents, leads to less vandalism. You know, children are more supervised when the parents can sit in the playground area. Here's an image. This is where they kind of proposed putting shades. So they're proposing 3 shades with this playground design. So one over the parent seating area, merry-go-round, and the teeter-totter. Yeah,
That's at 695K. That's what,
that's the total investment. And this one is turnkey, so everything pictured is part of that 695.
Kind of feel like you're getting a better bang for your buck on that first one though, huh?
only thing this have,
Well, with the grant.
this
everything,
has the
right, makes
regular
it-
swings on it.
And this includes the regular swing.
This includes regular swings. Now, the last one with the grant, I am having them put the swings on there. They just were not able to get it before this meeting. And I did get the price on that. He said it would add another 10,000 for the swing to be added into it. So that one would be 630,000.
Are there any benches?
We would be adding the bench.
Okay.
In that white
So-
square.
Now, they
those
gave
are
me
those.
2 options for playgrounds. This is Virginia wood. This is a black locust wood native to Europe. So a wooden castle was a second option that they gave us. We also have the 2 to 5 and 5 to 12. They kept the cocoa wave in there. They added a little sailboat. Then you have some sensory features. You have the little pipes that kids can talk through that I've tried and I've never been able to hear somebody on the other end, so it was fun for the kids to try.
I don't think you pulled the pipe tight enough.
Somebody put some mulch in it or something, I don't know. Alright, so this one, the footprint, they kind of use the blue in the AstroTurf. That's what they're quoting for us here. They kind of designed it around the castle to look like a moat. And they put the little sailboat in the middle of the waters. It's a pretty cool design. I think it's a lot of fun. So it's very similar to their first design with the metal structure, but this one will be made out of wood.
but that Black Lotus is one of those that just doesn't rot.
It is one that is not prone to rot. It's an ironwood, so it is extremely hard, very durable. they have a 15-year warranty on this stuff. So and they'll come out and do any kind of repairs if the wood splits or if we have any issues with the wood, they'll come out and repair it. Maintenance on it's very similar to steel products. If somebody was to take a knife and carve on it, their recommendation was to sand on it. So you can sand on it. So if there's any kind of extra paint added to the structure or somebody carves on it or tries to light it on fire or whatever kids do, we'd be able to take a sander and repair it that way. If it's repairable that way, the company would come out and help us out and either cover it under warranty or figure out what they need to do if we have to pay for anything.
So they would be real straight logs that they have some curves to them?
It would be, so each log is unique and they build these on site, so that way they all meet this industry safety standards for playgrounds. But every structure is a little bit different because these are not perfectly straight, it's not milled lumber, it's raw logs. All they've done is sand them smooth. So there's no splinters, there's no sharp edges, and then they assemble the structures and on site. That way it guarantees that it's following the safety standards. Here's another couple pictures of the castle. And this also includes the handicap merry-go-round, the wheelchair accessible. It's very similar to the first one that you saw earlier. And here's another image with the shade structures added to it.
Did the first proposal have shade structures?
It did not, but there's roofs on those structures.
Okay.
So they did, the height of those, I asked about the shades. They said it was just gonna be too tall to be able to put shades over it, but they are fully enclosed and they have roofs on. Any more questions on this one? Are we ready for the next one?
Next.
This is Craftsman. This will be the same people that did our splash pad. So the first option is a sailboat, a pirate ship. They want strictly footprint. So this is the footprint that they gave us. So there'll be a 2 to 5 and a 5 to 12 structure on this one. And they put 3 shade structures in, and there are ground level play features under those umbrellas. So one will be musical instruments, another will be ride-on features like teeter totters and a obstacle course type jungle gym.
You got a ship, do they have a train?
They probably have a train. Most of these companies have a train or they can do something custom, but that also increases the price significantly.
Sure.
There are the 2 pirate ship structures. That would be the little rope obstacle course or the and the teeter totters and what the proposed shades are gonna be. This would have a traditional swing set bay and then different teeter totter features and then the music instrument area.
They make music.
You can smack on them and they make noise.
If you're really good, they can make music. Is that what you're
If
saying?
if you're really clever, you can probably figure out how to make a song off of it. Yes, sir.
Back up, just on the slide there, right there. Didn't we have that far left one already down in the existing part?
We had something
That had-
similar
that had a
to.
lot of problems with kids, the older kids busting them real quick.
I believe
Yeah,
that's one.
the one with the
that had been
springs.
taken out because it had so many issues.
Right.
Mhm, yeah.
Why would we want something like that again? I mean, the bigger kids broke it all the time, so.
I can have any of these changed and
Yeah.
things added, things taken away. So if that's not something we want, I will absolutely have them take that out of there and change it for something else. So they did propose this arch feature. $87,000.
The arch
It-
feature.
It's interactive. There's numbers on the ground and it'll sing to you, it'll talk to you, you can play games with it. There's sensors attached to it. It would require a power source, so the $87,000 plus whatever it costs to have power run to it. They added that in. I would not recommend it, but it's on here, so I figured we'll talk about it for a moment.
$87,000, it better sing to me.
It'll sing to you. It'll tell you to go run around the.
Yeah, I wanted to dance.
The grand total on this one is 700,000.
Jeez.
Does that include the? Does that include the 69?
$87,000 art.
87
That
are,
would be extra. So that
Okay.
would be $787,000 if we wanted the singing arch.
I'm concerned though it won't. That seems high.
The last and final one, are we ready to move on to the next one?
Yeah.
Okay. Last. Okay, so Midlothian, the park that's pictured in that photo. They have this tower and I can tell you this thing is enormous. Pictures just do not do this thing justice. I believe, Alice, you said you've been to
We've had a
that,
party at that park.
so
That's right.
this is an impressive structure. So they proposed one that has two towers instead of three, so. Inside this tower, the tunnel that connects the two towers has an obstacle course inside, so. They'd be able to get into the lower tower and obstacle course their way up to the taller tower where they can come back down on the big fully enclosed slides. So that's their 5 to 12 option. Underneath the tower is a little rope obstacle course climbing feature. That has this rubber tire belt strap that kids can walk across and navigate and then be able to climb into the structure and make their way all the way up. The 2 to 5 structure is kind of a little bit of a rope obstacle course. There's a slide option, some ground level playing features. They proposed a parent seating area that's covered and shaded. And then you have the ground level features behind it. So you have a xylophone, some drums, some puzzle boards. Get over to the swing side. You have a smaller teeter totter. You have it's like 4-person seated merry-go-round and a traditional swing bay. This swing here is a buddy swing. So 2 grown people can sit more or less comfortably in this swing and be on there together at the same time. So we probably fit 2 or 3 kids on this thing and parents and kids can swing together. They also included a 4-seater teeter totter. So you can seat 4 and then the rest can pile on in the middle. Angle of that climbing tower structure with the ropes underneath. This is also handicap accessible.
Even when they come down that tube thing, do they come down that tube thing?
Yes, that's a fully enclosed slide and it is metal. I went down the one in Midlothian because I wanted to see if it gets hot in there. Surprisingly, it does not get hot.
I was gonna say,
It
it
was
looks like
100
a-
degrees that day,
it's
so
like an oven.
surprisingly not. It was not horrible. So it's warm because it's 100 degrees outside,
Yeah.
but it was not cooking like the old school slides that you go down and be able to cook some eggs on at the same time.
For your legs.
Or your legs. There's a footprint. They actually overlaid it with what the existing playground looked like. So you can see it takes almost that entire area. So it's a fairly large footprint.
Is that AstroTurf or,
Yes, sir. This will be AstroTurf.
I think that's a lot better than that rubberized. Kids are gonna pick that stuff up, throw it, kick it out.
It's glued together. It's solid.
I can't throw it out.
I have done extensive repairs on that and it is pretty easy to repair. It's, you take the granules, take the glue compound, and then trowel it in just like concrete and let it dry and harden and it just blends right in. But it's pretty easy to maintain and take care of.
But you prefer that or the AstroTurf?
I personally would prefer the granulated rubber. So once it's laid down, it's glued in, it's troweled in there just like a plaster or concrete or anything else.
How about falling down though on it, which is easier on the knees? About the same?
About the same. This one. This one that I just showed you was 775,000. So it's a little bit on the expensive side and it's because of that tower, because they have two 12 by 12 footers under each one of those towers. And it's a very specialized installation that they have reps from the manufacturer come out to place those. So that is a very expensive feature. So I had the company go ahead and give me a comparable design with a different tower structure. So this very similar concept. You have your towers, you climb up, you have your height. This one has a spiraling rubber belt, so kids can navigate in a spiral pattern all the way up to the top and get to the slides and come back down. Keeps with the whole clubhouse feel. You have your height, you can perch up there, look out, see the whole park. And then you have a whole jungle gym course underneath these towers.
Is that netting around that?
Yes.
Okay.
This one has your monkey bars, fireman's poles, different kind of spinning features attached to it. 2 to 5. This one is pretty small. But they kept a very similar layout. Here's another angle of it. So everything is the same as the last presentation, except the towers. So your merry-go-round, your xylophone, your music features, teeter-totter swings, it's all the same. There's that spiraling belt that you can navigate, get all the way up to the top.
Have you seen that one in person by anywhere?
I have not seen this one in person, but I've worked on many LSI brand products with Warlicks directly. That's another very good playground company. I've worked on playgrounds 15 years old and still going strong. They looked maybe 5. Parts are easy to get with them, very short lead times on replacement parts. I've never had an issue working with their customer service. This is a company I would recommend to anybody.
So how long will it take to get equipment on this one?
They're all similar, 5 and 8 weeks lead time on the products. We're not getting anything custom on the game time. Some of theirs are custom, but the parts aren't custom, but how they're putting it on the structure is custom. So it's still gonna be that same lead time on all across the board.
I guess the question is do you think this is $140,000 better than the first one that we saw?
I think all of these are comparable in quality. I think all these companies are comparable as far as customer service. What they'll do for us is all comparable. Their warranties are all comparable, 15-year, 5-year. And I think one of them has a 2-year warranty on some parts. But I would recommend going with Game Time. I think we'd be getting the most bang for our buck with Game Time products. I've seen Game Time products that are 20 years old and still going strong. That grant program that they're doing helps us out with the pricing, that we're able to get the more expensive surfacing. They were able to put in the most features, and overall, I think that might be the way we need to go.
I think my only reservation with that first one is lack of shade structures. I understand that there's roofs on all the,
It's
You
not
know,
over the slides and stuff though.
no, but
You got some coming, I mean, that one's a tube.
I mean, it's Texas, right? It's August, it's September, it's hot. Parents are gonna wanna sit in the shade. I mean, so I
So-
think,
Shade's important.
Yeah, that was a huge factor when I was talking to all of these playground companies and looking at what we have out there. So the two squares underneath, those are existing shades.
Because they're not on the play, they're not in the play area where the kids are. I
Not
mean, the
currently.
parent-
So part of that conversation is this area that is gonna be a decomposed granite area. This side would be made into a seating area. And I have them working to see if this will fit in that space. I got word today that it should. The bench will fit. I'm just waiting to see how the post fits in there as well. So I will have shaded seating area for parents to be able to sit in this area.
I think that's really important.
But I thought part of it was though to try to help shade some of the equipment, so the equipment doesn't get so hot for the kids.
On the tower structure, it'd be very difficult. It's over 20 feet tall. So the cost to put a shade over there would be astronomical. I can go back and discuss with them because this has the best price out of all of them, and I believe we have a little bit of wiggle room. I can see if there's an option that they can do for shade over at least some of the features.
'Cause it was 613 or something, right? And then we had
This one-
another 10 grand for the swing or something.
619 plus another 10 for the swing.
So 630.
Would be
We're-
630 for this one overall.
That's before tax, right?
There's no tax on these.
Oh, okay.
Plus, with this one, I would be pouring the concrete or having the concrete poured, because it's a fraction of the cost from what the manufacturer or the playground companies, contractors pour.
Is you shot from the hip with 20 grand or something for that?
Yes, sir.
For 650. Then if we could get some shade seating somewhere around there.
We have the two umbrellas that are currently out there. We can leave those as where they are. I can move those. But I will have seating area out there for the parents to sit and
It's,
be comfortable.
shaded.
Yes, sir.
I like the comment you made about seating being in the playground, because I think I agree it would deter vandalism and kids, bullying or whatever. I mean, the whole kids being kids stuff, right? But I
That's
think
what
it would help with some of that.
this area would be seating for parents right here. I believe on this other side is where they're proposing to put swings in on this side.
Knowing the problems that we have with the swings previously, maybe we forego the swings and put more seating.
I'd be sorry if you.
Swings are-
got swings.
You gotta have swings.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're pretty essential. And you
I
are
could
right.
care less if I ever get on another one, but there's a lot of kids, I think that.
Swings are still the-
Isn't it kind of shady back there anyway? Cause it's in the corner. I know there's trees behind them. Are all the trees gone from that area?
No, in the mornings it would be shady, but
Yeah.
the way the sun on the west side of the playground, it's more open. Because that's the side of the walking trail, so there's a large gap there, so in the afternoons, it gets full sun.
I just know I take my grandkids to the park a lot. And when it gets hot,
Granny.
when it gets hot, that equipment gets hot. I mean. And there's,
We run over to splash pad and cool.
There's nothing you're gonna stop
run
to
over
do
this-
that anyway, you know?
well, I mean, if you can provide some shade as much as possible for the equipment as well,
Yes.
where you can.
Okay. So what do we need to do here? We need to,
So we need to select which company we'd like to go with, which one would we like to move forward with. We have 4 companies to choose from. So whichever one gets chosen today, I'll be moving forward, making finalizing these plans. So like game time, we'd have to talk about shade structures and swings.
Can I just ask a stupid question?
no such thing.
Oh, 630, excuse me, I'm sorry. 630 included the swings and game time, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Can I just ask why we didn't get these people, since you had experience with this? I have dental stuff going on. I can't talk very well. Why, why we didn't get these people in the first place? On the first go around. I'm just, cause it sounds like you have a lot of experience with this group.
Yes.
Well, that's why we brought him here, is because we never really had a park professional here to walk us through this. Last time we built a park, we used a consulting firm. It spent tons of money, and this time we brought it more in-house.
Okay, all right.
He's earning his keep here.
Yeah, he is.
So keep coming with the questions. He's, you know,
I like different aspects of each of these, right? I like the compliance of this one for the special needs stuff. I really like that. I do wish there was more shade, but you know, I think if we can do something with some seating for parents and stuff, then I think I like the first one. Me personally.
shaded areas, I think, are things that we can always come back and add
Sure.
in certain,
Yes, I
certain
agree.
areas too, but when you get something as high as some of these things are, trying to put a tarp over, it's just gonna blow off.
Yes.
You
That's
have an
just pretty-
estimate of what
very
shading
unique
would
out there.
cost? An idea?
And I can throw numbers out, but
You don't wanna hear them.
Okay.
The, what was the last estimate we had on the park total estimate? Wasn't it like 1.3 million?
It was over a
We ended
million.
up with?
The money,
Yeah,
the bond was sold for 1.25 million. Is
okay,
that
so
right?
we have
Is that right?
that was the overall.
there's an excess here from 630 to the
No,
bond money,
So
right?
some of the money has already been spent.
Splash
with
pad.
The splash pad,
Okay.
the fencing,
basketball court.
we've had some concrete work.
Marcy, do you have what's left now? Where are we at?
Today.
So there's wiggle room a little bit for shade structures.
Well,
So the shade structures over the splash pad have to be replaced. They were not installed correctly. They've been removed. Now we have to replace them, and that's going to cost roughly around $100,000. So between
I'll have about
I still
40,000.
have a few quotes coming in, but we're looking at somewhere between 85,000 and 120,000 to replace those. I'm hoping the next couple of quotes come in lower than that. But for what I have currently, that's about the ballpark we're looking at. So when we're going through and designing the playground, I made sure to remind these companies that, hey, I have to have a cushion because I'm replacing other things. There's other projects still left to do in the park. Which is part of the reason. Man, these guys were phenomenal working with us. But I think we have a little margin for cushion to be able to talk about shades over these, because they're much smaller shades. If we wanted to be able to put them over some of the features like teeter totter or maybe the swings or something along those lines. But I wanted to make sure we have enough cushion to be able to cover the other large items. And could the shading come in as a phase 2 of this project? So later down the road, we add shading over different aspects of the playground or seating areas.
by my shady math, I think we have 20 to 40,000 left over if we spent the 630 on this. After you do the shading over the splash pad,
Roughly.
depending on what it comes in at. I was using 120,000 as the high, right? So
How about benches? How's that fit into the budget? We already have the benches, they're already. in
We've already
there, or-
replaced the park benches. I would have to get a couple more benches. We already have picnic tables. I have some picnic tables that can go in this area. But the picnic tables are about 1,200, or park benches are about 1,200 apiece for the ones that we put in the park. So if we, 2 or 3 of those, we'd have room for those.
I mean, obviously don't speak for everybody, but I really like the first one and,
I like one.
One seems to be a bigger bang for our buck.
Should we vote?
yeah, so I think we need a motion, to choose. Sorry, I'm looking for game time, as the option, for the new playground.
So be it. It's providing we have, you're gonna get the lawyers to drop a contract. There's
Yeah.
gonna be a
There will be a
start
contract on this one, yes.
penalties.
I second.
Jail time.
All in favor of game time as the, playground of choice? It is unanimous.
Dustin, before you go further, I want to make sure y'all, I know you do, but I want to reemphasize the amount of time and effort that Steve has spent on this and labored on this and driven all over everywhere, looking at different features and trying to put this together to the extent that he has. It's certainly not been an overnight job. He's got a lot of time vested in it, lots of blood, sweat and tears. He and I expect Thomas both. So, I know y'all appreciate the work.
Yeah.
you do.
Absolutely. Very good. Good job. Good job.
Agreed. Okay. Future agenda items,
Mm.
don't say dog park.
I'm saying any park, you're out of money.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, in that case, then it is
Yes.
4:53, meeting adjourned.